The Ritter website was the first thing I looked at the minute I was diagnosed because my diagnosis was so ridiculous and
Tell me.
the doctor didn't know anything about it and just
Fucking tell me so I can kill someone. Tell me.
told me that I have same as John, ascending thoracic aortic aneurysm in the waiting room of a clinic, and then sent me on my way. And I went out in my car, and I'm like, I don't even know what this is. He couldn't really. He's just like, you can probably still do the stuff that you do. I can't because my job requires me to lift like 100 pounds,
Of
and
course you can't. This doctor needs a beat down from,
I
is
got
it
different doctors.
is it a
I,
boy doctor?
well, of course it is.
No comment. I can tell you it was cramps are in your head.
But I will say, like, my male surgeon is actually really a badass, and I do really like him a
You
lot.
are.
Yeah.
Surgeons are the ones that see it.
Yeah.
Surgeons see what Dr. Eleftheriades at Yale, who grew up, his dad worked for Penske. So he grew up around cars and mechanics. And he's like, a lot of surgeons have only seen an aortic dissection when somebody's already up on blocks with the hood open. I'm like, what? It's like they get called in because the other doctors are like, what? We need to be able to not have to get to that point, to have somebody have an aneurysm diagnosis and go down the right path as opposed to down the series of tubes known as the internet,
Yeah.
and everybody's opinion, but to be able to go to the John Ritter Foundation, that was my dream, dude. That was the machine. I'm like nerdy science mechanics person, in my real life in here. And it's like, what would be the machine? What would be the flow chart where the doctor would say this, somebody would put it in, it would say, that's what your favorite actor John Ritter died from, or whatever it says, or your doctor says John Ritter, that should trigger that,
Yeah.
the good kind of trigger. And then you go to our website, and not only can you go blah 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 blah, you're like, I need an advocate. I need a person to talk to me.
And I did that right away. I got
And then,
someone
oh my
immediately.
God. So that's like, right. So that's the proof of concept. Oh, God bless you. That makes me so happy.
Yeah. It's
And you
so
got Carmen?
I got Carmen, and then Carmen also hooked me up with someone that she had talked to here in Colorado. And now that woman and she's about my age, she's a little bit younger, and she and I like go hiking and hang out.
You see what I'm saying?
And it's
Okay.
nice because obviously, like, my husband has no idea what this is, and the people I work with have no idea what this is.
Do you know,
Um,
can I tell you what it reminds me of, but also that I was kind of using as a model, kind of on purpose, and not to separate by genders here. And I don't mean to do that because there are plenty of guys who know how to do this, but it's the thing of like my grandmother's generation. You'd say breast cancer, and they're like, shh, don't say, They would never. Then my mom, was born in 1922, but her generation is when they started like laying in the information. And then after that, it's like if you say to somebody, I mean, I'm 63, you say to somebody, oh yeah, my aunt had breast cancer, or they're like, girl, they will drive you for a mammogram. They will pancake you themselves. They'll feel you up, It's like just the idea to know, and it's possibly genetic is one thing, but that just hearing it should trigger action, that you should suspect that it's possibly something. A doctor that would say, yeah, you have an aneurysm, you're fine, come back, or don't, doesn't get the urgency of it, because we know aneurysms, now we know. Some
mhm.
grow fast, some grow slowly, some maintain this, so the idea of being monitored with imaging is so much like mammography.
Yep. I know,
which
and I know I'm so lucky. Like I know, I
so lucky.
understand. It sucks, but I am so
No,
lucky.
you do not want to be snuck up on. So lucky, just like people with breast cancer that kind of knew it was coming or can avoid it or can do a genetic test to know like what flavor of breast cancer is this? What is this going to grow fast? Is this going to? And so that's what all of our I know the right word isn't flavor, but
I gotcha.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like the more information you have, and a lot of times doctors don't trust the I don't even know if it's the intelligence of the patient, right?
Hmm.
And I mean, back in the old days, I'm talking to people now, like, well, nobody in my family ever had this. I mean, my uncle and also my aunt died of heart attacks at 45. I'm like, and they were autopsied? No. No, were they under doctor's care? No, they grabbed their chest and fell over. So massive heart attack. And I'm like, dude, maybe not. You don't know. So being suspicious, maybe that's what good girls are good at. Um, it really it makes a difference to just have it in front of you, knowing that that could be a possibility. And then all the experts are like, I got this, and we do it. Speaking of experts, the aorta advocates are experts in their own story, right? In their own experience. But there's always something that you can latch onto. And it's not, we're not allowed to give obviously medical advice. Blah, da, 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 da. We try, we try to keep politics out of it. We try to keep, all of that out of it and just have that fellowship, that peer to peer bond.
And it's helpful. I will tell you, it's
So,
helpful.
so helpful because then you don't get mad at your spouse and everybody else who doesn't understand it. We're like, we'll let you know. Yeah, you're on a need to know basis. Just be nice to me, be good. I'm going to talk to my buddy on the phone about some specific stuff, and then I can be nicer to you.
You're not
If I,
wrong.
if I remember marriage correctly, it was a lot.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
What happened in your life that got you here? Like I know the story, but
Well,
what?
John, my husband, uh, died of a thoracic aortic dissection, which is a tear inside of the aorta where the all of a sudden the blood finds a way through a kind of an inner tear, an inner wound into the lining of the aorta as opposed to going everywhere it needs to go. So, and then uh, the symptoms for that, the symptoms beforehand, aneurysm symptoms are nothing. There are no symptoms to the thing that's most often the precursor, which is the widening of the aorta in whatever spot. And so a lot of times it's misdiagnosed, and in John's case, misdiagnosed as a heart attack. And there was nothing done to rule that out. It was, confirmation bias, basically. Like this is a heart attack. And then all the things that are done for a heart attack, which are blood thinners, all those things, which are not what you want to do for a tear. So instead of it being a block in the heart, it's a tear in your aorta. Almost everything is medically is something that you would not do that would exacerbate it. And that's what happened on that night. It was basically the textbook of how not to treat an aortic dissection. First of all, you don't know, you don't suspect it. So you don't try to rule it out. And ruling it out on that night, as it is with so many people, would have been a CT scan. And I have recently been in the hospital situation with people, just bringing them to the hospital or something with no aortic aneurysm dissection history or whatever, and it turns out to be something else. But I've been there in St. John's in Los Angeles, where my friend was having a chest pain, and they did like a bedside X-ray, which is not the gold standard. You don't see the aneurysm in the X-ray. If it's wide enough, you might see the widening of the of the things around it making room for it, but you don't really see it. And then they started wheeling him off. I'm like, Jay, where are they taking you? And he's like, I don't know. And the lady goes, doesn't know who I am, doesn't give a crap, nor should she. But she said, we're taking for CT scan to rule out a thoracic aortic dissection. And as she went away, my friend who was in a lot of pain, and he's okay now, and he did not have a heart attack or an aortic dissection, he looked at me like gave me the thumbs up because it's like, you did it. I'm like, this hospital, something triggered that where that happened. But the idea is to be able to have that always kind of on the minds of people. And if you know that you are at risk, if you're rocking an aneurysm or you have it in your family or you've to be able to advocate for yourself, huge.
Did you know anything about the aorta before this?
I knew what it was because um but I knew what it was because I'm like science weirdo. Did I mix it up with the atrium? Yeah, always like the A. But I don't even think I told I don't even think our CEO Meredith knows this, who's a survivor, but or Bella, who you have probably met. But so every year I win the science fair because my dad was a butcher, and he would like, where are you? Are you grave robbing? What's happening? And I'm like, no, this is how the kidney works, definitely in a pig and here in a cow. But so I had a bunch of different hearts of different animals. But also I made a thing with red and blue marbles, which is not exactly true. The blood is blue, whatever. But and I remember I made a thing. We had my dad helped me make it. It was like the styrofoam thing, and then we had I don't know, we burned it. He probably used a cigarette to make the tracks, and we would like roll marbles through it. It was marvelous. The only thing I was good at in school besides art was like creating a 3D model of how things work, whether it was weather or and so again, to bring up Dr. Eleftheriades, who I love at Yale, when he was talking about that a person getting ready for surgery is up on blocks with the hood open. He hasn't even met them. So he has to like remember the humanity of everybody before they're not just a machine. But he goes, but to explain to people the fuel line, you know, or to explain to a plumber or somebody who understands that, it's this. Or if they're like a city planner or ever driven, it's like, this is the freeway, highway, E-way, whatever anybody calls expressway. I'm from Cincinnati, called expressway thing. And then this is like the off ramp. And then there's a block. And so then the blood doesn't go where it needs to go. And it keeps going like this. And the blood's late for the airport and the plane takes off. That's your brain. There goes a limb. There's goes, because it's not going. And it's like, wow, maybe I can translate this into different ways that people think of it, because just on paper, on a flat piece of paper, here's the thing and here's the thing, but to really understand kind of the mechanics of it, and that it's very simple. This is the pathway that the blood needs to take. It is being sidelined. If you're a riverboat captain, it's in a tributary. It's not go. You know what I mean? It's a body mechanics problem that has to be solved, waylaid, repaired, or never happen by using science and the communication like we're doing right now. You don't let it get to that point. It's infrastructure. It's infrastructure, dummy. You know what I mean?
That, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It's keep the bridges up, keep the tunnels this. You have to, and I think people are so used to hearing about atherosclerosis, which is the blockage of the aorta of arteries where things build up inside it. This is a different thing. This is the structure of it being kind of dismantled from the inside. And there is genetics and understanding amino acids and protein and smooth muscle cell deterioration. And there's all these things, and you can to your level of how much you want to know, go on the website.
Yep.
But also, you can also just go on the website and go, uh-oh, and Carmen will call you.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Because you don't need to know all that stuff to keep yourself safe. But if your doctor goes, hey, listen, I heard about the aorta thing. Here's what I'm thinking. You go, beep, bop, boop. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what Ellen Hostetler and the chief science officer are thinking over there, to be able to have us to like back up your self advocacy. That's my dream.
And that's what's happening. Like,
Oh,
it
dude,
didn't,
that makes me so happy. It's so important.
it didn't take you real long to start the foundation after this happened. Like, you just kind of did it.
Yeah. Well, what happened was when John passed away, and he went to USC, fight on, go Trojans, all that. I don't know. I didn't graduate from college, whatever smarty pants people say. But I set up a fund that just was John Ritter Foundation. That was because people were sending $20, $50, like very substantial. That's substantial in my world, how I grew up. I'm like, and it was so that, and it was a hunk, was in a fund for the theater program at USC days after, as I'm learning. And then this series of articles in the Wall Street Journal, which I don't read, somebody sent to me. There were 10 articles by Kevin Helliker and Tom Burton that were about thoracic aortic dissection, how it's misdiagnosed. And John passed away as the seventh article was being, and these guys were trying to get a hold of me. I didn't know who they were. So when the articles came out and I read them, I went, hold on, here, theater department, here's this from me. I need this foundation. And so made it the John Ritter Foundation for Aortic Health. There's paperwork, there's things, there's mission statements. And the minute I did that, and I started having a presence, a little web presence, people would write to me, and these are the stories. It all starts with the stories. And, and it's confusing. And so this is 22 years ago. All I know, I hear the word. So I speak to everybody who's in the article, like Dr. Diana Milowikis. Well, it's Milowitz, but that's not how I read it. I'm like, may I speak to Milowikis? And she is the authority. Go girl. She is. I mean, not to be like that, but it is mostly women. About the genetics, Dr. Worldwide, as people would say. And she spoke to me immediately about the risk that first degree relatives, parents, siblings, first cousins, aunts, uncles, children, how high that risk is. And this was that many years ago. There was, I think, one gene mutation to look for that she actually identified, the ACTA2. And now there are dozens, because you need to get people in those research studies. That's how that works. But she said to me, every first degree relative, even John and my child, it was only 5, needs to get an echocardiogram right now to measure their aorta and make sure there's not that aneurysm somewhere in it that they're rocking already, right? And then everybody got into her study, which is where you just spit into a thing. Our gene in our family, Ritter family, is not identified yet, but so many have. Our CEO, I mean, where you're able to check it out. John's brother, so John passed in 2003. John's brother in 2007 was found through this to have an aortic aneurysm in his ascending, right where John's was, which is the most dangerous place. I hate to say, but it is. I know. I know. Well, it's right there by your heart.
I know where it is, Amy.
Let me just lean in and trigger the F out of it. But it's like, and the first doctor he went to was like, yeah, it's really not that big. So I think we just watch it. Dr. Milowitz gets on the phone, calls and was like, we don't know how fast John's grew. This is John's older brother. This is, and Tom Ritter has cerebral palsy. We don't know what different factors play into this. What if he has to have surgery? The recovery will be maybe longer because he can't get up on his feet and run around and all the recovery things. So he went up to Stanford and got scanned, and they're like, I'm going to need you to come back, whatever. So it's like, I think he's about a couple weeks up there. And then right before he left, they're like, let's do it again. Yeah, this is growing really fast. We're doing you next week. And so on Christmas Eve, he had his aortic arch replaced, and he's good. A little bionic, good, but not
Little bionic body part.
well, I think it depends. People feel like bionic, I think. I mean, those words from my day have to do with, I mean, the bio part of it, like using maybe a device or something. You think of something like metal and shiny. And so sometimes you have to have your aortic valve replaced, and you can get an animal valve or a mechanical valve. So that's more of a bionic thing. Tommy did not have to have that. So he just got his, he got his tires rotated.
And someday
In a
I
good
will.
way. Yeah, and someday you will. I'll hold your hand for sure.
What do you think? This is big to people like myself. What do you think that John would think of all this? What you've done, what you've kind of
Oh,
dedicated your workspace to. What would he think
my
about
life
this whole
space.
thing? Yeah.
It's interesting. I never like to put myself in anybody else's head, especially when they're not there to speak and go, no. But what everybody knows about John is how devoted he was to his mother and how devoted his mother was to United Cerebral Palsy. From the time John's little brother, big brother, sorry, a year or so, was diagnosed in the 50s, maybe even the 40s, early 50s, the mission that Dorothy Ritter to bring United Cerebral Palsy up to where it needed to be out here in the West. It was things were happening with it back east. But Dorothy Ritter and Leonard Goldenson, who was the president of ABC, who had a child with cerebral palsy, literally changed the lay of the land. There was a time when whether you were in a stroller or in a wheelchair, you get to that curb and you look for a Boy Scout to pick you up. Before the American Disabilities Act, all that, to be able to advocate for people with disabilities and to fund research into cerebral palsy, Dorothy Ritter was doing that from the 50s on. And the way that John talked about her and admired her, I'm just trying to kind of walk in her footsteps and like never let that lag, to just know in my head how much John admired her. And she was a wacky lady, as I am a wacky lady, kind of.
I was going to say, it feels like
on Team Name and da 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 da, which is kind of the way it helps, because to give somebody just a dry ass diagnosis of this and this, and people, just to be able to receive it with kind of the love and the joy with, if John would have survived, he would be bringing this message to everybody and he would figure out a fun way to do it. So it sticks. And that's what we're doing.
What have you learned about people? You've met people who have this disease and have dissected, and is there kind of a commonality with all the people that you meet, or what have you learned about people who have this? Not just the mechanical, but
you saw me going nerdy with that.
What people have gone through.
Well, because I meet people who have lost loved ones, and this is not just grown-ups, babies can have a dissection. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's everybody across the board. the fact that their shared experience is this extremely dangerous thing. I think it's different for people who have lost someone to someone who is watchful, waiting, wakeful, watching their aneurysm, right?
Biting their
It,
nails.
right, biting your nail, bite your nails. Let me see those hands again.
Oh, they don't have nails on
I don't
them.
either. I don't either because I plant lady. I think I explained.
Yeah.
But I mean, the commonality is everybody at some point in their life had to go, this is the new reality. My baby died from this. This is the new reality. My wife died from this. This is the new reality. I have to keep my family safe so their mom doesn't die from this. So you're the loved one that you're having to protect. And there's a seriousness about it, but there's also a great hunger for community, which I have, you know, I have set up the machine that makes the. I'm not. I mean, I can't be the community for everybody. For a while, I was, and would I love to meet everybody? And I do through this kind of thing. But the fact that the aorta advocates exists, that speaks to what I've learned about everybody. Everybody just wants that touch, but they might want to talk to somebody once. I got it. Keep my number. I got it. Or they might want to check in every day. This is a bad day. This is a scary day. Oh, this is a good day. Is it okay to have a good day? Am I in denial? You know what I mean? So I think what I've learned is everybody needs a community, a village of people who understand the specificity of what's happening in their family.
Um, I'm guessing this work has made you feel pretty darn good. It's
Wow.
hard because it's a tough thing to talk about, and it's like not the sexiest disease. Like it's not, it has its own month, but people are like, what? When you tell people what
Yeah,
you have, they're like, what? And then you can say, well, the John Ritter thing, and it does give a face to it.
gives a
Um,
face to it. It's interesting. I was talking to my CEO, Meredith, who's a survivor, and I just, are you happy? Are you happy? Well, I mean, today is John's birthday. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's not, you know what I am? I'm feeling more satisfied that the message is getting out there. And I feel like I'm doing my duty. I was raised, I'm a little now, but I was raised Catholic. And part of it was just you're responsible for everybody. But instead of saving souls, I'm saving aortas is just as important to me.
sounds
And
to
so,
me like you were raised in the Midwest. I mean,
yeah, I was
that's a
I mean, all of it is. I mean, everybody, this, the, you know, the germ, the middle of everybody's hopefully religious upbringing or non-religious, just humanistic is kind of responsible for everybody. If I had this knowledge, yeah, I hear it's genetic. What? Oh, let me tell you one at a time while you pop off and die all over the world. So the idea of the the souls, I mean that like all souls at sea or whatever, like the people that have been saved from having the suffering that our my family has and so many families have, it's satisfying. I don't know that it makes me I mean, I'm not like high on my own supply, you know, like, yes, I did it. Because boy, nothing is more humble than you and I having this conversation, feeling real good. And then if you've heard my phone, bing, 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 that might be because I keep an eye on lots of families. You never know. You never know what that thing is. And so it keeps me hyper vigilant, which is actually a diagnosis of mine. So that's helpful, you know. But I like making people happy. I like making people stay alive. And the fact, but there, the minute you think you have power, or you're like, well, that's solved, world peace, I did it. No, it is an ongoing mission, and now you're a part of it. So
Here you are.
because you know you're doing it. Because what if you're like, yeah, I've got this little thing, I don't really want to talk about it. No, but of course
So,
that's your jam, and that's my jam. Is like communicating with people. Yeah,
and I hope showing people this personal story here. I've been reporting in this television market for 20 years, so people
yeah,
will know who I am and be like, that's the crazy hiker, biker, like mountain biking
hiker biker.
person.
Yeah,
And I'm still able to do it. And
yes.
I advocated for great medical care because talking to Carmen, she's like, you got to get rid of whoever the hell told you in a waiting room that,
Oh,
because I hadn't had any medical stuff before, but like
yeah.
knowing that you guys are funding research is
Oh,
really huge to me.
yeah.
And
And
um,
the research with the idea of Siddharth Prakash about exercise and living your life and doing the nasty or whatever people want to do that they're nervous about. It's been a minute. Forget what it's called. Getting, I don't know. But do you know what I mean? Like all the things people like, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I do this? And it's like, um, go easy. We'll do the study. We'll let you know. Yeah, get it on. So, or whatever, run a marathon. Do you know we've been running, not me, sister, the New York City Marathon, and we were waiting for the research and funding the research on what is safe to do. And we never let anybody run the marathon who was like on the bubble. We didn't know they have a repair, they have a this. And then we did the research for it. And it's like, actually, you got to check your blood pressure and your heart rate and your stuff. But there are ways that you can completely go on with your life, which is awesome.
yep. And yeah, I really, man, it's been really cool talking to the person who did this for me.
Stop
So
it.
thank you.
I can't hear that.
Why?
Well,
Why?
I don't know.
Because you're from the Midwest. I'm from Wisconsin, so we don't like
I
compliments.
could, oh, I wouldn't know by the way you said Wisconsin.
I don't sound
No, but
like
it's,
it,
yeah, you
but
do.
no,
Oh,
not all the time.
no.
No, I know I said Wisconsin like that, but I don't say everything else like that. You
You
sound
don't know.
Midwestern too.
Excuse me. You're speaking to someone who is pretty good at accents, and I do it for a living. And people ask me when they have to do an accent. It's in there, and it's okay.
I
No,
know.
it's okay. You can be from the, just so you're
Recovering
not from Chicago. Oh my
recovering
God. So
Midwesterners.
Patty. No, Wisconsin is a really fun, beautiful accent, and you have the teeniest, tiniest little bit of it. Just makes you seem warm and friendly. Or maybe that's the plaid shirt.
It's all of it. I still am warm and friendly, but you know, Midwesterners are also like slightly passive aggressive. So I've got that in me too.
Oh, you have to be, especially to
um,
women. You have to be. You can't be that nice and bring pies without shitting in them every once in a while.
um, final,
Sorry.
um, final thought.
Yes, please.
What do you think? This is like a huge thought, but it sounds like the most important thing is that you've helped people make connections and you're making people more aware. And that's really what this is all about.
Yeah. You can't treat something that you never consider, that you don't suspect, that you don't think about. So on every level, there's something to do. Everybody has some part of it. Even if it doesn't affect you at all, you can talk about it. And everybody, it's so crazy. And at the beginning, I was like, wow, this is weird. Now it's like, oh, this is how this works. Is I'll meet somebody, they'll say something to me like, oh, I remember exactly where I was when John died of a heart attack. I'm like, actually, I didn't die of a heart attack. Instead of me going, oh, you remember it too? So do I, a-hole. That you know what I mean? People like to like just gluck me. And so then I turn into that person that's go, here's what an aortic dissection is, da 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 da. And then if I run into that person again, they're a host at a restaurant, they're something, they're like, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, tell me. I talked to so and so, her aunt, da, da, da. She thought it was, she knows that her mom died in childbirth of an aneurysm with her, but she never asked what kind of an aneurysm. And then she found out it was this and that. And I sent them to the website. People can do their own research. I said, well, if they ever need somebody to talk to. So it's all there. And the connection is the most important thing. And John had a quote of, he just wants to be the guy that kind of plucks that golden thread, like a violin, like a guitar that kind of runs through everybody to make everybody's like feel that vibration at the same time. That's what an actor does to the audience, connects them whether they know it or not. They've just connected them by having a shared experience. We just had a big version of that last Friday night. We had a reading of Three's Company, people who knew John, people who didn't, and I was backstage and people were like, well, why didn't your family do it? Why didn't Jason? Why didn't Tyler? I'm like, first of all, John is still our loved one who died. We love, and we know we need to share a story. Give us an effing break sometimes and let us just watch our work blossom. And so I was behind the stage watching the audience. And this is what I told Meredith, this is what I told our CEO. I said, the fact that, because people came in tables, which is how that kind of thing works, by a table, which is great. And we made a lot of money for research and ye freaking ha. But to see a table full of, doctors from USC who are fun and they got tanked, whatever. So, and then there's a table of survivors, and then there's a table of my friends who are actors with disabilities, and then there's a table of family members, and then there's just people who are like, what is this? It's a Friday, I gotta go, my boss made me come. But during the thing, seeing everybody, seeing their faces, and then the minute the Three's Company reading was over and they all had that shared experience, they were jumping over tables, I'm gonna cry, to talk to each other and to understand it, because right afterwards, of course, we played the video of a family that almost lost someone. This gentleman who dissected at his wedding. I'll send you the video if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. And so people have this shared experience like, oh, that's why we're here. And we just drink a little bit more, give a little bit more money, but also I want to talk to everybody here. And that's what happened. And so we made this community, one ballroom at a time, but also through the wonderful series of tubes known as the internet. You're doing it.